and we are offline. Stream health. Maybe. Yes? Can you see me? Huh? Are we finally online? I have no idea. I've been just trying to connect all of these things together, and I just want to know if you can see me and if you can hear me, and if both of these are okay, please say something. And until now, until I get a confirmation, I will try to. Hi, I see people. Hi people, can you hear me? I want to know if you can hear me, if that's okay. Yes. Oh, awesome. Is the picture okay? Because it looks like I'm this tiny little thing. Like doesn't look like the whole picture, but okay. Video quality is low. Okay. We need to work on that because I have no idea how to do streams, and this is my first time doing it, and I'm just trying to do it via my Canon camera, but otherwise I hope this looks good enough. I will also do some post-stream tiny videos with samples of photos of this phone and so on, so don't be too afraid if I don't show everything and I don't if there's not everything in here. And I'm sorry for my occasional lags. It's been a long day and my brain will probably not work with me all the time. I have all your questions and comments here, so if I will be looking at the screen is because you will be writing so much and I want to know what's happening. So yeah, thank you everybody. Oh my god, there's so many people here. That's like 40 people. What? Hey! Okay, so we are here today to talk about this. I have no idea what's that sound. Like seriously, I told everybody that I'll be live streaming and there's just, never mind. Well, we came here today to talk about this awesome, amazing phone, and the first thing I want to tell you is like a little bit of my history with Samsung. As you probably know, I used to work for HTC a couple of years ago as a sales promotion, and because of that I was working with phones a lot. And at that time, 2 or 3 years ago, Samsung really didn't make super awesome, amazing phones. Their phones were they were like really they were not of good quality, but they really now that's a problem. See, when my brain goes another way and I want to tell you something and it's just, this is the part where I usually edit them out and now you can see them in all their glory. What I wanted to say is that they made phones that were good, but they look cheap. They were plasticky, they were falling apart a lot, and I really didn't like it. I actually hated Samsung. I've never ever used a Samsung phone until this week. So everything I will be saying today, you have to keep in mind that I come from a standpoint where I really didn't like Samsung, okay? So yeah, the chat here is like super distracting, so I will be looking at the chat between every other topic, okay? So I'll tell you when to pour in all your questions and we can have a little Q&A, and then I'll continue, and then of course I will read all of your comments when we come to the end of the stream. I also think we have super chat on, so if super chat is available in your country, you can test that out if that also works. But yeah, so first off, let's start with the design. I have my trusty cloth here because this is a true fingerprint magnet, but it looks amazing. Like on the back side you can see the infamous fingerprint sensor, camera, heart rate monitor. I really couldn't find any use for a heart rate monitor, so yeah, let me just clear a couple of notifications because that really wouldn't be good for you to see all the stuff I did today. Yay, so many notifications. So yeah, The screen itself, the Infinity Edge, it looks amazing, it feels amazing, it really gives you an amazing viewing experience. It's truly, 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 it's amazing. Yeah, I can see that the audio is ahead by 1 second, but to tell you the truth, I have no idea how to correct that. So I guess this first stream will be horrible with horrible audio. I don't even want to show you how we made the audio to work, because that was some serious MacGyver shit. But you can see me, you can hear me, and I am here, and I'll be answering your questions afterwards. So let's continue. Awesome Infinity Edge. It's an AMOLED display, which means that blacks are amazingly black. One thing that I really liked, when I first watched a YouTube video, it asked me if I wanted to use a video enhancer. And I was like, okay, what else do you need to enhance on such an amazing screen? And what it actually did is, AMOLED screens are known for their true blacks, but these blacks can sometimes be a bit too much, and you get super contrasty picture that just eats everything that is dark gray to black. So the video enhancer, what it does, it pushes out the shadows. So you get also details in these shadowy parts, and the blacks really stay black. So you have a more accurate representation of the video you're watching. And it turns on this feature every time you're using a video primary app like YouTube, or if you're watching something from the gallery and so on. It just does that, and it pushes out the shadows, and you can like truly see what's happening on the screen, and that was amazing. I really, really, really like that. Okay, so there's this big debate around the fingerprint sensor and how is it working, if it's really so bad as they say. If you're using it without a case, it's quite hard to find. Like, you're not really sure where it is. But I've been using it with a case all the time, and I actually found this really tiny little case that is super sleek. So it's completely transparent, super sleek, and it has really tiny edges, so it doesn't take away from the amazingness of this screen. And with the case, that is not the case anymore. The fingerprint sensor suddenly becomes usable because you can feel it, because there is suddenly 1, 2, 3 bumps, and your finger can feel where it should go, where the sensor is. So when you get used to it, it's not so horrible, especially if you're going to have a case. So I have more cases here, and if you, for example, any case that has like 2 little holes or 3 little holes, any case that has this kind of design, you will easily feel the fingerprint sensor. So if you are considering not buying this phone because of the weird fingerprint sensor placement, just use a case, and it's like you get it almost every time the first time. It is true that it's not super precise, so that means that it's not going to be a 100% hit rate. It's more of a iPhone sensor, not so much a Huawei sensor, for example, that gets it right every time. So sometimes it happens that I have to use it 2 or 3 times. But yeah, it's not a deal breaker. Not at all. It's really good. So if we go to other features on how to unlock your phone, you can do it the usual way with the PIN code, or you can use the iris sensor. This is where you should put your eyes in these 2 circles, and then it recognizes your irises. So it looks something like this. I'm here to use irises. No, okay. It just unlocked the phone. Why is it unlocking the phone right now? Now I really want to show you how to not unlock the phone, but okay, we'll try in a couple of minutes when it locks back. Because I didn't send a home location here. I only set it at my home, so I don't know why. It's just randomly unlocking. So yeah, it can also scan your irises. You get like a red light up here and then it scans. And how I usually use that function is when I have the phone on the table and I need to look at something, I open it up and then I go over the phone until it scans my irises. So it's kind of weird, but it mostly works indoors. So that's awesome. Now I'll go back to your comments and see what are you talking about here, because there's so many comments. The first live stream, yeah, it's horrible, it's terrible. What's happening with the noise? Like seriously, I have to figure it out. Nate! Kdo to ropota? Daj mu reč, da ne, no. So my brother's apparently doing something. Yay! Yay! Like why? I told you that I've been doing a live stream today. Mau. Pa ne prodost. Thanks. Never mind, I really hope it doesn't bother you again. Okay. I need some tea. Hey, what are you drinking? Tell me. Tea, coffee. Are you a tea or a coffee person? Oh, the noise from the PC is bothering you. Well, maybe later I can show you on Twitter how my setup looks like, and hopefully you will understand the struggles. But we made it work. You can hear me. Oh. Okay, let's continue to the inner sides of the phone, the processors, the working power. The phone is a workhorse. It can do so many things that you will probably not ever need a 10% of what it is capable of. And to test that, I was really searching for a game that could push the limits of that, and I found Need for Speed, and that was quite problematic because I got kind of obsessed with it. But yeah. So I was playing Need for Speed like crazy, and what happened was that the phone was really handling it well. It never lagged. I've been really playing it for a couple of hours per day for the past week, and the phone never lagged. It always did everything. The graphics were amazing. Everything was amazing. I could even play it on the full resolution, which is like 4K. So I could even play it on that, and it was no problems at all. So I was amazed because I did download the same game on my iPhone 7, and the load times were a bit longer. From time to time it lagged, but only like from time to time. It was not the same. And also the Infinity Edge display and gameplay with this phone, it's just amazing. And I will remind you that I hate Samsung, but this is quite amazing. What I really liked about this phone is that it gave me like little tiny tutorials when I first started using it. For example, anytime I came to a new feature, it stopped me and it gave me a tutorial. So if you swipe up, you change the cameras. If you swipe down, if you do this. If you draw circles, if you draw flowers, this will happen. It told me everything, and that was really useful to learn all the different features of the Edge screens and all the apps you can have on the side of the screen and things like that you would just not know if you just skip through all those tutorials. So yeah, the phone has an amazing amount of hidden functions that you don't even know about if you don't actually go into this and really figure it out and really follow these tiny little tutorials that aren't really super annoying. Like, they were quite seamless, and even though I had to go through them like really fast, that was not a problem. So I really liked about that. So I've seen that there's a lot of questions about the battery life. The battery life was horrible the first day, I will not lie to you. I like to use the phone like for the first couple of days like just as it is out of factory reset settings. And it had the always on screen on, which means that the screen is always showing you the time and some little graphic and some notifications. And I just left everything on. And at 5 o'clock, about the time I was starting this stream, the phone was at 15%. That is 15%. And I had an event that evening, a very important event, and my phone was dying at 5 o'clock. So that was completely unacceptable for me. So I plugged it in, charged it. It was charged in about 45 minutes, enough so I could continue working with it for the rest of the night with it. And then the next day I started to do a little bit of research, what was draining the most amount of battery, and I found out that it was one of the benchmarking apps that was closed and put to sleep, but it was still draining like 4% of battery per day. So I just uninstalled it. And the screen was also draining the most battery, like 40% or something like that. So I just turned off the always on screen, because in my opinion it's not such a huge feature that you would absolutely need to have it turned on. And I really wanted to know if that will be enough to save me enough battery to last the phone through the day, because I have my Pebble, so I need Bluetooth on all the time, I need mobile connection all the time, I need Wi-Fi all the time, so I'm not going to shut down these things to conserve battery, because that's not how smartphones should work, right? So I just disabled the always on screen. And after that, amazing things happened. Suddenly the battery life was not a problem anymore. I'm finishing the day with 30-40%. Right now we are at 77%. But it is true that today I didn't have time for my Need for Speed addiction, so I didn't use screen that much. But I had a lot of calls and things like that, so when it comes to phone calls and data connections and things like that, it's not really draining battery. It's just the screen is huge, and that is the main point. That's where the battery is mostly being drained. So yeah, this is quite good. Also, I saw some questions about no, I don't use the wireless dock because I don't have the wireless dock. I only have a couple of cables. The questions about the size of this phone. So this is the normal S8. This is not an S8 Plus. This is just the normal S8, and it fits perfectly in my hands. As I told you a couple of times, my hands are not the biggest, but at the same time, like, this is awesome. I really like it that I made it a bit thinner, not thinner, but like thinner in this area, because I can really, it has a good grip, and I can reach almost all corners. Like the top is a little bit problematic for me from time to time, but you have the back button on the bottom, so that's not really a problem. Also, the first thing I did was switch the back and most recent apps buttons on the bottom of the phone. For example, oh, now you can see the irises. See, you go like this, and then it says hold phone closer, and then it opens up. So on the bottom of the phone you have the left, the back button and the recent apps button, and when you first get the phone these two are switched, and then you can switch them back the way you are used to. So it's weird. It's just weird. I'm gonna put my phone back in the case because it has been known to be scratched really easily. And I have to say that even though I wasn't really careful about scratching the screen, I did not scratch it in a week of usage. So I count that as a huge plus, because I'm really reckless with, even with the phones I just get for a review. That's why I have a gazillion cases for them, just to keep them safe while they are in my review kingdom, you know? One thing you probably all want to know is also, what about the camera? Like, how's the camera? we've heard it's amazing, but is it truly? So I have this problem here, which you can probably see, and this is that this light up here is the, I don't even know how to call it. It's your typical work light, the typical light that is in the working spaces, and it casts this weird green shadow. No, I cannot do a dropping test because this is not my phone and I have to give it back, so no. Well, this light gives a weird green shadow, and this shadow makes taking pictures horrible with phones. Even cameras have problems with it. Even this DSLR has sometimes problems with it. Today I am quite normal. I look a little bit alien-ish, but not too much, so it's kind of okay. So yeah, I always have a problem with that, and when I first turned on this phone and I just wanted to take a picture of something on my table, the white balance was perfect. And I was like seriously amazed. How is that even possible to have a perfect white balance in a scenario where this just goes? There was not even one device that would get the white balance in this room perfect. Like even now. I don't know if you can see, or am I too far away, but I look normal. This is amazing. You probably can't see because this is way too far. But yeah, I was seriously amazed, and I was just like, okay, we need to go out, we need to test this. Samsung is known to oversaturate colors, so I'm really gonna pay attention to that. And I'm gonna show you some side-by-side samples of iPhone and Samsung a couple of days later when I get all of this footage that we have here into tiny little videos. So yeah, that you can like really see and stop the picture and take a look, because I was thinking of how I could do this live and without a secondary person putting pictures up here on my live stream. I don't think there's an option to do that anyways, so we will do a secondary video with not live comparisons, but with like real comparisons that you could stop and look at. So yeah, saturated colors. I was really trying to see if it was oversaturating or if it was okay or what was the situation. And the first thing I shot outside of this horrible room to take pictures was a sunset. It wasn't exactly a sunset, it was a bit cloudy-ish with some sunsets. Or maybe I could just show you the picture. It's easier if you know what I'm talking about, right? Let's see, where do we have the sunset-ish thing? Oh yeah, here it is. So this was the first picture. As you can see, the sky is a beautiful blue color. In the background you can see some orange tones. It was truly beautiful, and I did take the same picture with my phone and it wasn't even close. So yeah, but then at the same time I asked myself, is it over contrasting colors? If I put this picture in Snapseed or some other photo editing apps, can I get something out of the shadows? Can I bring the shadows up if I would want that? Because when you're applying filters, the most important thing is, does the picture have enough information to play with the shadows and the highlights, or is there just blank data, like just black or just white? And I put it into Snapseed and I did get some information out of it, and I was just like, this is amazing. I think they finally found their fine point, like a fine tuning area where they contrast the pictures just enough that it still looks amazing, but they still retain the information that you could use it for post-processing if you would need it. And that was something amazing. Next thing, low light pictures. So my brother had his prom dance the other day, and it was very dark in the huge hall where they had it, and we saw that you can actually make pictures in a dark room. This is me out of focus, but maybe, no, just a second. Let me show you a random picture of my brother making a face. See, that's because you were making noises before. Now I will show you your pictures online. So this was made in a complete darkness. I hope you can see it. This was made in complete darkness. Like, I couldn't see that well, but the phone did. Of course, if you zoom in, you will see. I will zoom in on his amazing face, but still, like, there's so much detail in. If you zoom in, you can see that there's a lot less detail, but still, this is a phone. I was taking pictures with a phone, and I could make decent enough pictures for social media in a completely dark place. I mean, it was not completely dark, as you can see. There was some violet light coming from the stage, but it was dark by all definitions, and it was still amazing. So I find that quite surprising. Like, seriously, completely dark, but you can still make great pictures. That is kind of special. Oh. Is there something else that I need to say about the camera? Makes amazing pictures. It was so funny. Look, there's a picture of my cat. It's an obligatory picture of my cat. You have to see my cat. She's so cute. She was sleeping because she was playing with the doggy too much, and then she needed to sleep a lot. What does it even matter? I don't really think so. Yeah, it makes amazing pictures. Really, I will take this weekend and really try to find one situation where it doesn't work well. I will really try to make it happen. Try to find its weak spot, you know? Also, the video, I didn't do much video, so I will do a bit more testing of that also through the weekend. But when I compared the video stabilization between the iPhone and the S8, the S8 did very well. And also, if you remember in the P10 video, I was talking about the not optical stabilization, but the in process, how is it called? You have optical stabilization, and the other one is it's just gone. Optical stabilization. And the other one that is done inside the processor. And when you're panning, it doesn't completely know what you want to do, and it just makes like jerky video. iPhone does a little, P10 did a lot of that, so it was kind of a deal breaker for me because I do a lot of pans and things like that. iPhone does that a tiny little bit. Samsung doesn't do that. I couldn't prepare it to do that. It was really good. You can easily pan with this phone. It is true that if you have it like zoomed in, and if you do a lot of moving and you want to focus on one thing in the end, it will go all the way everywhere around, and even when you have your hands are already stabilized and the picture is still going like this, because it's just following, trying to figure out if you're just going to stay here now or if you're going to continue moving. So when it comes to that phone is really good, but the microphone is not so great. I haven't had the time to do like proper testing with headphones, but from what I heard, the microphone on the iPhone was a lot better. So for vlogs or something like that, it is still usable. It is still very, very, very good, but it's not as perfect. Like I have a feeling Samsung is always lacking a little bit in the microphone and speaker department. Also on the bottom you only have one speaker, and this one speaker is okay, it's nothing special, you won't exactly be listening to music through it, and when you are playing games it often happens that you cover it with this finger unintentionally when you're like going like really hard and trying to yeah, it happened that I covered it quite a couple of times, and when you cover it, like all the sound is just gone. So it's kind of also a safety feature. If you want to mute the sound super quickly, you just put your finger over the headphone, over the speaker. So that is it. It has a headphone jack, it has a USB Type-C charging, which makes it charge really, really, really fast. Another thing I found really useful was, what do you get in the box? All the little things you get in the box. So we have the box here. It's the beautiful S8 box. And I was really surprised by the amount of accessories you get. Because lately I think it's like becoming a trend that you hardly get a charging cable and a pair of like really cheap headphones. That is pretty much all they give you, and of course the local charging adapter, but apart from that you almost need to ask for the pin to get the SIM out or something like that. But this phone is a little bit different. It comes with your regular wall plug. It also comes with a pair of headphones. I also need to test these. They are the AKG headphones, so they could be like really nice. USB Type-C cable, and you get a couple of tiny things, and you're like, oh my god, this is so cute. What is this? It is a USB Type-C to normal USB adapter, so you can literally plug your USB stick in here if you need to, which is awesome. This is like super useful. And there's another tiny thing here. Oh, some additional rubbers for the headphones. Another tiny thing here that has just now fallen into a hole and I can't get it out. And this is even tinier. Look. And this one is USB Type-C to normal micro USB. So you know when you're like deadly out of the battery, but you have these two guys somewhere in your purse, and you're like, come on, does anybody have a charger? And there's this super cute bartender that for some reason has a charger behind the bar. He's like, yeah, I have a charger, but which charger do you need? And you're like, shit, I need USB Type-C. And I'm like, no, I can also use a micro USB, you know? I can do that. I don't have to be I don't have to be anything less because I have the newest thing. I could also use the old technology. So I really like these two tiny little accessories that cost you a couple of cents if you go on eBay or AliExpress. And that was really nice of them to put them in this box together with everything else. So I think that right now it's time for your questions. So if you have any questions that I haven't answered by now, just start putting them in the chat section. I will be taking a little peek. So yeah, what I wanted to say, I really have a feeling that I forgot something, and I'm not sure if I came across of how amazing this phone is. If I would have the budget, but sadly right now I don't, I would be seriously considering buying this phone instead of my iPhone. One good thing about my iPhone is that it always stays the same, and as I read many times in the comments, it's so boring. But you know what? It's nice to have a boring phone for your daily driver, because when I am switching through all these phones and all these different settings and different environments and everything, there's so many things that I have to think of, and so when I come back to iPhone, it's like a cleanse. I reset myself back to 0. So yeah. What are your thoughts on the curved screens? I really like them. I really like them. I really like the curved screens. I mean, you get, not that you get used to it, like it's not something you need to get used to it, but I like it. I like it how it curves on the sides, how it makes it look infinity. Even though I put a case on it anyway, I started even with a bulkier case, but still, I like the bezel-less display, the bezel-less feeling. But still, on the other hand, I put on my I put cases on just to have a better grip. So on one side, we really like the bezel-less phones, and we want to have them all bezel-less. But on the other hand, we want a good grip, and we don't want accidental presses with our palms when we are holding the phone. So that is like, the designer of the phone is probably banging their head against the wall, like, what do you want, people? You don't know what you want. Exactly, we don't know what we want. So I kind of like the curved display. I really like it. It's a interesting fairly new feature, and I guess it worked for them, and it looks quite beautiful. Is there a fire extinguisher, a mini fire extinguisher? I think there is somewhere a mini fire extinguisher, but I don't know why. Where do you see it? So, will you test the waterproofing? I can't test waterproofing with this phone because this is not my phone, sadly, and I have to take really, really, really good care of it if I want to get any Samsung devices in the future. So sadly, I can only do soft tests as camera tests, battery tests, but even that can't be too extreme, you know. Samsung's exploding batteries, nah, we have to be kind of careful. No, just kidding. But yeah, I can't really do hardcore tests. I can do like the thingy things. I'm sorry for the noise. The noise is my computer. As I said, I had huge problems with the sound or with getting the audio in the stream anyways, so it is what it is. I am sorry. I will prepare better for next time, and I will get somebody to help me with this. Usability is not shit. Usability is quite good with the curved displays. It's like, it's still quite good. I mean, I've never had a problem where it would bother me that it's curved, ever. So that's kind of good. G6 or S8? That's the problem. I haven't had the opportunity to even have in my hands the G6. This phone is a bit hard for me to get my hands on, so I am still trying. I haven't given up, and I will hope I could cover all the phones in pretty fairly good time. So yeah, this is just switching up and down, and the phone full screen. Nokia 3100. I don't know which Nokia that is. I only know the Nokia we played football with. That was an amazing pair of Nokia. That was an amazing Nokia. Hammer test is fine, yeah. No, I don't have a DeX docking station. I only have these. This is my docking station. Or I have a USB hub, or how do you call this? I have like a bunch of stacked USBs on my bedside table, so I can charge a million of my devices. So yeah. What else? What are the other questions? Reachability of all screen without switching the phone in hand. Again, yes, I have been talking about this. It is quite easy. This is the normal size. This is not the S Plus, S8 Plus, and the bottom is quite reachable without problems. But on the top, I am a little bit. I have a short finger, so I don't reach it all the way to the top. So see, with the screen on, it doesn't go all the way. But the back button is also on the bottom side, so that is not posing me any problems. So it's good. It's not something that it would that I would have a bad feeling about it, or that it would make it unusable for me. So yeah. Does it feel good in the hand? Yes, it does, because it is a little bit thinner. You can easily hold it. Like when you see me holding the phone like this is not a good grip, but when I can do this, when I can put all 4.5 fingers on it, this is an amazing grip. Like I can, this is awesome. This is quite awesome. What's the problem with the fire extinguisher, people? Let me know where's the where's the joke about the fire extinguisher? Like, seriously, don't do this to me. Huh? Yeah, I know. But still, that's not even funny anymore. That's so last year, you know? So yeah. No, it's not even overheating or something like that. My boyfriend in the other room, moderating your comments, so don't say bad things in the comments, he downloaded the Need for Speed on his iPhone 6, and he was just like, this is horrible, the phone needs forever to, the game needs forever to load, it's overheating, it's lagging, I have so many problems. And I was like, yeah, this is probably the first time when we can openly say Samsung did something amazing, and it's probably a bit better than iPhone in some ways. So that was quite a very bold statement, shall I say. Do you use Bixby? I did turn it on. I did try to use it, but I didn't really find it usable. For example, I use Siri to set my timers, and I use Google Now when I go home to check traffic on my way. And Bixby was just, it can do everything that the Google Now can do. It just does it a lot worse, and it doesn't have all the information about me that Google already has. Haha. You know, like, Google is our big brother that stores all the information about us, and Samsung just doesn't have that information, and it can't make cards that would be so tailor-made for me personally, and Google knows everything about me. So yeah, that is kind of the problem. What else do we have here? What do you think about the new iPhone leaks? I don't know, they are leaks. Some of them might be true, some of them not. I've seen some renders. It's interesting. I'm waiting for them to do something revolutionary, but I think I will be disappointed again, because if you just release a new phone that is faster, bigger, has a better camera and better battery life, then it's just like, we're getting bored. So show us something new. Show us zero bezels, weird fingerprint placements. Show us something to talk about. Show us an amazing camera. Show us something new. That's my message to Apple. What do we have also here? Do you like any Sony phones? Wow. I have to think really hard. When was the last time I had a Sony phone in my hands? It was probably when I was still doing the sales promotions for HTC, and one of the guys that was also working with us was a Sony promoter, and we hung out a little bit, and that was probably the last time I had Sony phones in my hand. So yeah, I always thought about Sony phones. I had a feeling they have a really good camera and really interesting glass design when nobody was doing glass design, and they had these really sharp edges when nobody was doing sharp edges. But at the same time, the user interface of Sony, even though they had Android, and I think they had some Microsoft operating systems on. Like, wow, it's been so long that I forget so many things, and I just need to get back into this. So I always had a feeling that they make really good designs and really good cameras, but everything else just wasn't there yet. So I don't know what's happening with Sony phones now. They just nowhere. They just disappeared completely. So yeah. Will you use it as your daily driver? If so, how long? I have used it for a week now, and I can have it also over the weekend. Yay! And then I have to give it back. And in this time, this phone has been my daily driver. I have my main SIM card in this phone. That's why you can also see a bunch of notifications popping up all the time, because I'm a busy girl. What can I do? So yeah, this has been my daily driver, and as I said previously, if I would have the budget, I might consider switching. Like, or maybe not, because I just bought a new phone in December, and that's half a year. Is that too long for a tech reviewer to have a phone for more than half a year? I don't know. I'm one of those that buys the phone and then has it for a year and a half, maybe even 2, and then after, when things get like really new and really faster and really more amazing, then I go buy a new phone. So nah, not really sure. Is bigger better phone-wise? Of course, yes. Not really. Not really. I think we've come to a point where a phone is about as big as it can get for a woman's hands. For example, I have the no. I also have the HTC Ultra here, which is just a ridiculously huge phone. Like, I'm not comfortable holding this. Like, this is as big as my head. Look, I think this is a bit ridiculous. What do you think? Huh? This is a bit ridiculous. Like, the phone is as big as my head. So yeah, I do prefer smaller versions of the phones, as is with S8, and I also have the normal iPhone 7. So yeah, normal is better for me. I like them. Did you get the wireless charger with the S8? No, I didn't get the wireless charger with the S8. I just got the cable and this, so yeah. What would you like to say is S9 comes out? S9, like if another phone after this one comes out, maybe that they would put the fingerprint sensor somewhere else, maybe a bit lower or on the front. But for the front, I usually use irises, so I like the iris scanner to unlock my phone. So just make the fingerprint sensor normal again, and that is it. S7 Edge user, should I update to S8 or wait for Note 8? That depends. Do you need a huge phone, or do you just need an awesome phone, normal phone? If you just need a normal phone, I would say go for the S8. It's quite amazing. I don't know if it's that much more amazinger than the S7 Edge that you would absolutely need to switch, but it's really good. So Note 8 is will be huge, so if you need this I think Notes are even a little bit bigger than the HTC Ultra, so yeah. There is no wireless charger packed with, yes, that is correct. Wishlist for S8, as we said, I just want the fingerprint sensor to be somewhere else, and that's it. That's it. How did you make this stream? Your subscribers is less than 10k. Well, you can normally stream with even less than 10k subscribers, and you can have a super chat even with less than 10k subscribers. You just need to be in one of the eligible countries, and as you probably know, Slovenia is super tiny, super people don't know where it is, and we are usually not eligible for anything. So there's a quick YouTube hack for all you creators in there watching me. You can actually switch the country of your channel in the settings, not on the about page, but in the settings, in the advanced settings of your channel, to any country you wish, and then you get all the eligible things that the country there is eligible for. So right now my channel is set to United Kingdom, that's why it has an option to do super chats, even though I right now can't send a super chat to myself, because Slovenia, where we are streaming this from, is not eligible to do that. So I just wanted to see if it works. I just wanted to try it out. So this is one big trying to figure out how to do that. What is your actual phone? My actual phone is the iPhone 7. And I think you're quite new, Don Lu, because if you've watched a video or two of mine, you would know that. Just kidding. What else do we have here? I'm so sorry, like I'm scrolling back 3 or 4 pages. So yeah. Poor use of space, yeah, that's the HTC Ultra. Sony Xperia, a review of Sony Xperia XZ Premium. I might try to get my hands on that, but not really sure if it's going to be possible. So yeah. How is the gaming performance? Oh, you also haven't watched the whole review. I was talking about playing the Need for Speed game that needs super fast computing, super fast graphics, super fast loading times, and everything worked flawlessly. There hasn't been one time where the phone would be lagging. So I was so happy for that, and I got a little bit addicted, and I'm gonna cry now because I have to give the phone back, and all my progress is saved on the Android account, and we don't have any other Android phones in the house. So I will have to wait for another review of an Android phone to continue my quest with Need for Speed. So yeah, don't really like that, but the gaming experience is just off the hook amazing. I was actually looking for games to play to really see how they perform, and this was just blowing my mind all over the place. So yeah. What's really the advantage of a higher screen? Well, in my opinion, you can get a lot more space in the phone. That's the first thing. So if you would need some processors or some things inside the phone that would not fit on a normal sized phone in a thinner version, you can use that tiny little more space to put everything in there. Also, it's just more natural for a human eye to look at the portrait mode and to have a lot of information in this order, in portrait order. So For example, if you're reading something, if you are visiting a website, you can see more of the website on the screen, and that's my opinion. That's what I really think they went for with this weird ratio, with this super portrait mode. That you can pack more things inside a phone and also more things on the screen itself, because it is true that for most of the day you will be using your phone like this. You will not be turning it around, you will not do other things with it. You will just use it as it is, and you will use it for apps, and you will use it for social media browsing. You can get like another row of Facebook or Twitter on screen that is taller, and also you can get more apps on the screen with the taller ratio and everything. So I think they were really thinking about how to get more screen real estate in the phone, in your viewing area, but at the same time being like really easy to hold. So that, I think the person designing this had an amazing idea to do a taller screen. Do you see much difference between Full HD and 2K in a phone? I was testing this with my friend the other day, and we found an interesting thing, and that was it has more detail. It's not really that you can see a pixel even with Full HD. Your eyes can't see it. It's like everything is nice and seamless for you. But when you put it in 2K, everything gets sharper. The colors get sharper. We were looking at the icons in the Play Store, and at Full HD they were nice, but they were like not blurry. But when we switched it to 2K, everything just like popped, and everything was super sharp, like too sharp even. So you can see it, you can notice it, but it's not really noticeable. I used the phone mostly in the Full HD mode, just to conserve a little bit of battery, because it wasn't such a big difference. And also, yeah, so I didn't really put it in 2K, but for example, if you would be somebody who does a lot of photography, or if you play a lot of 3D games, or games where the details are really important when you are like looking at your phone like really closely, as I do when I really fall into playing a game, then you would see the difference. So yeah, you can see it. Slovenia with an E. We can do a little bit of geography class if you would like. I can show you where I actually live. Where have we left? How do you actually pronounce your name? Like my Cat4K name or my real name? Ha! My real name is a mystery. Another questions about battery life. Battery life is awesome if you switch off the always on screen. With the always on screen on, I was losing battery at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and when I switched it off, I am finishing the day with 40-50% easily. So one small hack and you get tons of battery life. So yes, OnePlus is always a smart purchase if you're smart, that is. Yes, OnePlus is an amazing phone. That would be, I really want to get my hands on that when it comes out. So awesome. Because of the AMOLED display burning in issues. I don't think that would be a problem, especially because they have so there was a question. I'm a little bit afraid of burning in issues in the S8 display over time because of the AMOLED display. Burning in means when you like for example, when you leave a certain picture on for too long and it just burns it on the screen and it doesn't really ever go away, like you can see a little haze of it. I don't think that's that would ever be a problem, especially because they have their always on screen and it is on by default, so I don't think it's a problem. I don't think the burning in is a problem. So yeah, if you know what I mean. Like, if they put it on by default, then it shouldn't be a problem. So yeah. If you do Slovenia, Slovenia is written with an E again. It's not Slovenia, it's Slovenia. What's the average screen on time on 1000p resolution? I really didn't do any tests, so I can't really say, but I was finishing the day strong. As I said, the always on display was a much bigger battery drainer, so yeah. How do you pronounce my real name? My real name is pronounced Tjasa. Now you know why I use another screen name. Yes, Slovenia is a country in the Balkans, that is correct. Have you experienced red tint issue on the S8 screen? No, I haven't, and I was really Googling about it when I saw that people had problems with red tint, and I was like, what red tint? My screen was normal from day one. I got an update about the second day, I think, when I was using it, the update that should resolve the red tint issue, but it was okay and normal from the first day on, so I had no problems whatsoever. And I have a European kind of phone. It has a big European SIM cards only. So don't you dare put anything else in there. Red tint issue. Honor 8 Pro, what do you think? I don't know, I haven't had the chance to touch the Honor 8 Pro. I was working with Honor 8, and Honor 8 is a totally different range of phones. Honor 8 is a mid-range phone, and this is a flagship, so you can't really compare apples to pears, or how do they say it. That there is a noticeable difference between Full HD and 2K. I prefer, he doesn't believe me that there is a noticeable difference between the Full HD and 2K. I prefer you make a blind test. Someone give you photos on the display, once turned to Full HD and once to 2K, without saying when it did. That is, maybe I can show you. Maybe you will be actually able to see it. I don't know what quality this stream is, because it's saying that the stream health is orange now, and I have no idea what this means. This is a huge learning experience for me. But let me try to show you. So, for example, we have the Play Store, and just have a look at the at the apps, and maybe you could see the difference. This is, wow, okay, I just opened something. If you know what to look for, then you will see a noticeable difference between the between two different resolutions. Okay, so we have the Full HD on right now, and this is the Full HD. Now, take a look at the icons, and especially where there are the edges of the icons. I hope you can see something. Edges of the icons, when one color goes to another, where there are sharp edges, yellows, oranges, things like that. Okay, I really hope you could see something. And then I'm going to switch it to the 2K resolution, and you will see it just gets a little bit less hazy. It's not super noticeable, but it gets just a little bit crispier. Let me go back into the App Store. There. Now look at it again. It's just a tiny little bit crispier on the edges, and when one color goes into another, and where there are edges, again, a lot of edges. I really hope this stream is in a good enough quality that you could see the difference. But I will do some pictures and I will post them on I could post them on Twitter. So yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, you know probably a lot. I don't know if you're like really seeing it, the crispiness, but yes, it is crispier. So yes. Don't you feel like the iPhone 7 was not a good choice as your daily driver? No, I don't think that it was a bad choice, because as I said before, it's a nice boring phone that I could always revert to, and I quite like that, and it's always the same, and it will always stay the same, and it is nice and boring, and I like that. And it's also a nice benchmarking phone. I have a feeling that any phone, if you compare it to iPhone, that is the best possible benchmark whatsoever, because usually you will know somebody who has an iPhone somewhere in your surroundings. So I still think it was a good decision. So yeah. I thought Slovenia was in Africa. No, sorry. Middle Eastern Europe. That's where we are. Middle Eastern, Southern Europe. Like, we can't really decide where we want to put ourselves. We like to say we're Central Europe, but most countries just put us in the Balkans. What do you like now? iPhone 7 or Samsung S8? As I said, I can't decide. I'm on Note 5. Should I upgrade? Do you have the budget? If the answer is yes, then you know my answer. Do you change boyfriend as frequent as how often you change your phone? No, why would I do that? It's like... Does the iPhone 7 has battery life than S8? Yes, it does. Yes, it does by far, actually. But as I said, when I switched off the always on display, it was all good. So I think we will end this now slowly. We've been online for 1 hour and 6 minutes, and I hope you got your questions in. Wait. Somebody sent their questions via Twitter, so I really need to at least read those, if not answer them, at least read them, because I said, due to the whole Note 7 issue, we didn't get to use the new functionalities of the S Pen. So does the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus support the S Pen functionality if we could buy the S Pen as an accessory? I don't know. Sadly, I got this phone after I had to return the tablet, so I couldn't really use it with the S Pen. So I really don't know the answer to that, and I could just Google it right now, but I think you could also do that. So yeah. If Samsung has released a mid-range phone probably with 6 gigs of RAM, that is C9 Pro, why didn't they include this also in their flagship? Do you think they're saving this for the Note 8? What? Released a mid-range phone with 6 gigs of RAM that is C9 Pro. I don't know. I'm not a Samsung representative. I don't know this super complicated questions that need real insight in the company. I'm sorry. I'm just somebody who literally is holding a Samsung in their hands for the first time. That's how not familiar with the brand I am. Is the fingerprint scanner placement the biggest disappointment in getting the phone, or did they do just to keep room for improvements in their next iteration of Samsung flagships? I don't think, as I said before, I don't think this is the biggest, worstest thing about this phone. You get used to it, especially if you have a case, so that is not really a problem. So you really get used to it. I've heard it from many people who have Samsung S8s, and they all said the same. You just get used to it, and that's it. So yeah. Should I go for S8 or wait for Note 8 as it is rumored to have double camera? Do you need double camera? This camera is awesome. It's your choice. Okay, now we will really go. It's been an hour and 9 minutes so far. There's 40 of you watching this. So thank you everybody that you came here. It's probably a weird hour for you, and I am sorry, but we are scattered all over the world. I will probably do another live stream in some time when I figure out how to do the audio right, so it doesn't sound like I'm on an airplane, and how to do this video right so it doesn't look like I am filming on a potato. And I will see you soon. If you have questions, feedback, anything, I am available on Twitter and in the comments always. So yeah, see you soon. Bye. Now I need to figure out how to stop this. Stop streaming.